The SEC ESPN Network, it's a Monday night version of college baseball as the second-ranked LSU Tigers from the SEC. We are set to go. This game, of course, was not originally scheduled on this date. Nicholls decided to work with LSU and is coming here, and the game that was supposed to be here later against Nicholls has been moved to Thibodaux. Jans, Kalura, Melanson, Mock, Johnson, and Biediger, Ingersoll, Westcott, and Urban for the Nicholls Colonels. Jans leading it off with a .310 batting average. And conditions today are much, much, much better than they were over the weekend. William Schmidt, what do we know about him? He's a first-year Tiger.
He's a superstar out of high school, a guy that no one expected, not many people expected to go to college. Instead, turned down the money. His dream was always to be a Tiger. Grew up less than 10 minutes from the ballpark. You're going to see a fastball 92 to 94 miles an hour. It's his best pitch right now. Commands it on both sides of the plate. Has a curve and a changeup that he's really sort of trusted and developed over the last couple of months. Talking to Nate Yetzke, the LSU pitching coach, he says it's going to be a heck of a pitch for him, as the season goes on, because it's been really good in practice the last few weeks, the more confidence he has gotten with it.
He's only allowed one base hit in those 2 2/3 innings. Ronnie, is this a bit of a tryout, if you will, for him? Is this work to see that if he can move into potentially a weekend starter spot?
Well, I don't think it's at this point. I think everything's a tryout on this staff with all these 15 arms that have thrown so far, and they're all throw in the 90s with a lot of command. But he's a guy they have high expectations for, but want to bring along very slowly. They're going to throw him about 55 to 60 pitches max today is what his pitch count is. And wherever that ends up being, however many innings that is and batters that is, 60 was what he'll throw to.
Chase Jans, the left fielder. Jaden Kalura, the DH, and Matt Melanson, the right fielder, will bat first for Nicholls. Partly cloudy skies right now. We expect these conditions to be maintained throughout the evening. There's Old Glory blowing from left to right. Balls hit toward right field will be aided by the wind. The pitch gets away from Aaron Beatty.
Now, an interesting story about these Nicholls Colonels, Lynn. They had only 9 players on their roster as of mid-July last year. They had to sign 32 guys over about a 6-week period to fill out their roster. So it's a lot of new faces, mostly junior college players. And they're happy with the start so far, 5-2 on the year.
61 degrees right now. No chance of rain tonight, despite the cloudy conditions. That wind is out of the north-northeast. So what you're telling me is, as late as midsummer last year, they had to hustle.
Well, Brent Herring, he was named the head coach in late July. So, he hit the ground running, only had 9 players. Here's your roster, 9 players when you got to have 40. So he had to get after it. Brent, the first-year head coach, coached over in Utah and on the West Coast and all that, so he had a lot of connections on the western side of the United States, and that's why when you look at this roster, you see 4 players from Utah, a player from Idaho, a few from California. That's not common for Nicholls teams.
Well, Jans, who fell behind early, finally worked it to a 3-2 count and rips one up the middle on a couple of hops, and a good opening appearance at the plate. Curiel and Stanfield and Pearson in the pasture from left to right. On the corners, Tanner Reeves, he's making his second start at third base. Jared Jones is the first baseman. Milam and Dickinson form the middle infielders. And Aaron Beatty is catching. Ronnie, it's not completely... We'll finish that story in a minute as Calera comes up swinging and hits one very hard to right field. It's bobbled out there by Pearson momentarily, but no advance. Runners at first and second. A couple of pretty good swings early for Nicholls.
Yeah, Calera, senior from St. Thomas Aquinas High School out of Hammond, a veteran guy who plays a little catcher, first base. He's DHing tonight. Got a fastball up in the zone, and as you see, you got a fastball up in the zone. These Nicholls Colonels are handling it early.
How many times do you see a completely freshman battery? That's what we've got today for LSU. William Schmidt, a first-year Tiger, as is the catcher, Aaron Beatty. Here's Melanson, speaking of freshmen, hitting .250 in the 3-hole, the right fielder for the Colonels. He's played slightly to the opposite side. The first two batters have ground ball base hits. That fastball right at 94.7 miles an hour. A good one on the outside part of the plate.
Come on, let him round it up. Give him 95. I mean, don't cheat him now.
I can do that. Swing and a miss. That's 94.5. Where do you want me to round it? Up or down?
Always up.
Always up? Okay. Even 94.1?
Well, you would have been a tough teacher in school if you'd have rounded down. I would not want to have taken that class.
I expect a lot. 1-2 pitch, misses wide. So how do you like the new ballpark? The addition of seats, the new bullpen areas?
Well, as a former pitcher, I don't like it, right? I mean, you're taking a lot of foul ball outs, but it's for the fans, it's fantastic.
Swing and a miss. Schmidt needed a strikeout, and he got one.
Yeah, he reared back with those 95-mile-an-hour fastballs, and that last one was probably his best location, down and away. And for a young freshman, you know, that's nice to have that confidence in that power arm.
LSU has won 60 games out of the 85 they've played. They first met in 1968. LSU in the last meeting in Thibodaux was a 9-0 winner. Schmidt comes back with a breaking pitch for a strike. Logan Mock is out of Livermore, California. He's a senior. Aaron Beatty has trouble locating it, but is able to find it before the runners advanced. Monday Night Baseball, it's not all that common, but we are so glad you're with us here. LSU and Nicholls. Popped up and no play for anybody. That's up on the roof early.
Well, Logan Mock on the bump. I mean, at the plate right now. How about this? Went to high school in California, Lynn. Then he went to Southern Indiana before going to Nicholls, which is in Southern Louisiana. So you'd love to interview him and learn that route. That's three very different places.
Indeed. Ground ball left side, bobbled, and the throw over pulls Jones off the bag. Tanner Reeves could not field it cleanly. He tried to recover, but the throw pulled Jared Jones off of first base, and the bases are loaded. We'll see how they score that.
Now, this is a case of a player trying to turn two before he had one, right? Kind of got a little bit of an in-between bounce. You saw him sort of open up his chest. He was trying to field it and throw to second, possibly even thinking about tagging the runner going to third. Had a lot going on, and unfortunately, he didn't field it cleanly, and now Nicholls has an opportunity to get some runs on the board early.
That's an error on the third baseman, Tanner Reeves. He's making his second start this season at third base. And it looked like that ball, as he glanced off of the ball coming toward him, it looked like it might have hit a little bit up on the heel of the glove.
This is an interesting mound visit because you see LSU's pitching coach is making the visit, but yet he's talking to Reeves pretty much the whole time right there. Normally you would see LSU's head coach Jay Johnson go have that conversation. Instead,
yep, that ball hits off the heel of the glove.
Yeah, took his eye off of it just a little bit. You know, the runner coming, thinking about two, all that.
You know, LSU has been really good defensively. That's only the fifth error of the season. That's the third best total in the SEC this year. So right now, young William Schmidt is pitching with a Colonel on every base. And Tyler Johnson at the plate, batting .292. He has started every game but one. Couple of doubles on the year and 3 driven in. And a fly ball out to right field. Josh Pearson is backing up, waiting for it. This is plenty deep. The first 2 runners will advance. And there are runners now at first and third as Nicholls takes the lead on a sacrifice fly to right field by Tyler Johnson. Jan scored. Kalura had plenty of time to move to third from second. And we move forward with Nicholls taking the lead 1-0.
Now, nice job by the Colonels. Get the runner at third, less than 2 outs. You got to do a job, especially with the bases loaded. You got to get a fly ball deep, and he did. So an unearned run.
Yep.
Given up right there by Schmidt.
Here's Biediger. Milam will take the easier play at second base to force out on Mock with Dickinson covering. But in the inning, Nicholls gets a couple of singles and a sacrifice fly. And we go to the bottom of the first. Hitters in this lineup. Let's start with Tanner Reeves at the top. He's the third baseman making his second start. Derek Curiel has been a mainstay in the outfield. The youngster in left field. Jared Jones at first base. Josh Pearson, the right fielder. Daniel Dickinson off to a nice start at second base. Ashton Larson is the DH. Kate Arambidi is the catcher hitting seventh. Stephen Milam follows him at shortstop. And Chris Stanfield is in center field and will bat ninth. .461 is the on-base percentage for the LSU Tigers in the early going. Harper Jordan will toe the rubber for this Nicholls team. He's a senior, a 6'3", 195-pounder from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And even though his sample size is small to this point, Ronnie, he's got some good numbers.
Yeah, he's one of their better closers and relievers. He's going to get a start, just get about 2 innings worth of work. That's the plan. You see 86 to 89 miles an hour. The fastball moves it around the dish. Has a really good two-seam sinker. Kind of runs that ball in on right-handers' hands. Gets a lot of ground balls for the infield, and then has that slider away from the hitters.
He's allowed 4 hits in those 4 2/3 innings, but he has not given up a run. LSU finds itself trailing 1-0. Reeves, Curiel, and Jones for the Tigers. Reeves has had 7 at-bats this year with 1 hit, and he has driven in a run. And the junior third baseman takes a strike. And now another one. Colby Vidrine is calling balls and strikes. James Ainsworth is the first base umpire. Jeremy Haynes is at second base. And Kevin Kennedy is down at third. Reeves has to fight that one off.
A little extra juice that time by Harper. That was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Fastball's been 88 to 90 miles an hour, which is to be expected, fired up with a lead. Pitching at the box against the Tigers, you usually throw it a little bit harder.
So you're rounding up for both teams. I mean, that was 89.6.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
When
Sure.
you have a radar gun on the screen, they always round it up.
Okay. But I thought it was very charitable of you, very fair, to round it up for both teams.
Well, as a former pitcher, you always want to help your guys out, saying they throw a little bit harder.
This ball is hit pretty well. Irvin in center field took a step in, but he retreats and locates it and makes the catch. Let's set it up defensively for you. Chase Jans, Carson Irvin, and Matt Melanson in the outfield. And then you see Biediger at the third base position. And Ingersoll is next to him. Westcott is the second baseman. Johnson on first. Mock is catching Jordan. Curiel out of California has been certainly wonderful in the early going. This young man, the latest freshman to make an impact, 11 hits in 25 at-bats. He's had 2 extra base hits, a double and a home run, a .600 slugging percentage, on-base percentage of nearly .550. And he also is second on the team in walks with 5. He has been a frequent base runner. That's 7 straight strikes that Harper Jordan has issued. Now 8. That's a wicked breaking ball, Ronnie, and he catches Curiel looking.
That was a very good backdoor slider. Watch right here. I mean, that catches the edge of the plate. And that's a perfect pitch when you've got 2 strikes on a hitter. Because Curiel stands right on top of that plate. So well done by Harper.
A fly ball to center and a quick strikeout of Curiel. He's thrown nothing but strikes to the first 2 hitters. That one misses finally. Watch Jared Jones. He takes that Dylan Cruz posture at the plate just before the pitch. He'll lean back, cock the bat over his shoulder. That's Dylan Cruz, isn't it?
It was not a bad guy to copy.
No.
You know, he sat there and watched him for a couple of seasons, front row seat. At least for 1 year, national championship in 23, they were teammates. And Dylan Cruz now one of the favorites to be National League Rookie of the Year, at least preseason wise.
Jared Jones coming back for his junior year. He was draft eligible last summer, ranked the #1 first baseman by D1 Baseball, named a preseason All-America by that organization as well. And the pitch is upstairs. Jones becoming more and more patient at the plate, and his batting average has lifted every year, and he draws a 2-out walk. You'll get a lot of those during the campaign. That's his 7th of the season. He leads LSU. He's the biggest target, Ronnie, but he still leads LSU in bases on balls. Pitchers have to be careful with the Bear.
The thing that he has done, and he made a giant leap last year, did Jones, from his freshman season where he was very much a free swinger, is the patience at the plate. And I feel like he's continued that trend this year. And then Josh Pearson, I mean, he's a magnet. I mean, that's what he does. He stands on top of the plate, doesn't move, not afraid to get hit by a pitch. He draws walks and gets hit by pitches a bunch.
That's the 3rd time he's been plunked this year.
Right there on the thigh above the knee. And hurts a little bit, but he's not going to show it.
So Jones takes his lead from second base. Pearson is behind him. 2 outs for Dickinson. First pitch swinging, lines it into left field. Jones rounds third. He's being waved to the plate. Here's the throw, and it is late. And on the first pitch he sees, Daniel Dickinson rips a liner to left, an RBI single, and the Tigers have tied it.
Well, that's what you want to see if you're an LSU fan, is Daniel Dickinson. A lot's been made about him being one of the top transfer portal players in America, and this is going to happen a lot. Jones is going to be on base, and Dickinson's going to get a chance to knock him in, and he comes through with 2 outs. And that was a good pitch. That ball was a sinker right on his hands, and he was able to get the barrel on it.
Isn't it interesting the way momentum can shift in a hurry? The first 2 batters saw nothing but strikes. And then, with 2 outs, nobody on base, Jones drew a 4-pitch pass. Pearson was plunked, and Dickinson got a chance and came through.
Well, I think that the main mistake was the hit by pitch. I mean, I can't fault Nicholls for maybe pitching around Jones a little bit with nobody on and 2 outs, right? I mean,
right.
But you cannot go up there and hit Josh Pearson if you're the Colonels. You got to make him swing the bat, and when that happened, and you put a runner in scoring position, Dickinson's just too good with all the bases occupied.
Here's the DH Larson, sophomore, hitting .357 right now. This is his 4th start and his 8th game. Ashton has 7 driven in. That's 3rd on the team. Dickinson leads the way with a dozen, counting the one he just had. That bender breaks inside. Aaron Beatty is on deck. We'll see if the Tigers get to him with 2 outs. Pearson at second base. Dickinson is at first. There's ball 4. So all of a sudden, after throwing 8 straight strikes to open the game over the course of 2 batters, Jordan is finding trouble. A walk, a hit batter, another walk, a base hit, an RBI.
Now Harper Jordan, in his 2 previous appearances, which totaled only 4 2/3 innings, he walked 2 guys. And so the command has left him here.
Aaron Beatty takes a strike.
He's walked 2 and hit 1 this inning, and he hadn't hit anyone this season prior to tonight.
Aaron Beatty off to a 2 for 8 start at the plate. One of those hits was a double. Aaron Beatty drew a number 15 ranking among the 2025 perfect game top 75 college freshmen. Named the Texas Gatorade Player of the Year last year. And ranked as the number 1 high school catcher by MajorLeagueBaseball.com in its 2024 draft rankings.
Now, Jay Johnson's very happy with what he's seen from this freshman, Aaron Beatty, and also Hernandez, the transfer. They're kind of 1A, 1B behind the plate right now.
Cade had an uncle who played college football, Stacy Aaron Beatty. He played at Sam Houston. From Tomball, Texas. And there is ball 4.
That was a good take by the youngster.
It was.
You know, with a 3-1 count, you know, bases loaded, you know he wants to swing. He's geared up to swing, and he thought about it, but watch this sinker sort of run in off the plate, and instead he held up, drew the walk, and he'll get an RBI.
We've got some bullpen activity going, some shuffling around going down on the left side. Tigers have made all this happen with 2 outs and nobody on base. Jones drew a 4-pitch walk. Pearson was plunked. Dickinson swung on the first pitch and lined a solid single to left field. That resulted in Jones scoring from second base. Then Larson walked, and then with the bases loaded, Aaron Beatty has just drawn a walk, and it brings on Milam. Milam is hitting .292, 7 for 24 in the early going. 1 double, 1 triple, 3 driven in. He's got a chance to match that or even exceed it with this plate appearance. Milam hits it sharply. That's into center field, a base hit. 1 Tiger scores. Here comes another Tiger. Another one on his way to third. Milam responds with a 2-run single. And LSU has plated 4 in the first after yielding 1.
Now that's what LSU fans want to see. You know, Stephen Milam, freshman All-American, has a pitcher on the ropes early on. Bases full, and a guy just really trying to just throw a strike. And that's what Harper Jordan did. He got too much of the plate. Milam made him pay for it.
So with 2 outs and nobody on base, LSU has fashioned 6 consecutive base runners. RBI singles by Dickinson and Milam, and a bases loaded walk to Aaron Beatty. And here's Chris Stanfield. All of a sudden, Jordan having a great deal of difficulty throwing strikes after he opened the game with 8 straight strikes.
Yeah, this is going to be his 28th pitch of the inning, so I would imagine that Harper Jordan may be done after this inning. He's a reliever. He was only expected to go 2 innings.
Joseph Bordelon is warming up for Nicholls. Stanfield opened the season at the top of the order. He's hitting .368. This is his 7th start. He's 7 for 19 with 1 triple. Milam has the other triple. The outfield is deep and straight away. LSU 4 runs, 2 hits. Nicholls in the top of the first inning, 1 run on 2 hits.
Harper Jordan just hoping for a swing here to get out of this inning. Jordan started his career at Pearl River Community College. He was a part of their 2022 national championship team as a reliever that year.
That's hit on one hop to the shortstop. Ingersoll gets it to Westcott for the force. The inning is over, but the time.
Chào nhau. Hai đều 4 điểm. À.
Nhiều con gắt luôn, cả hai luôn. Các cả hai luôn, quan trọng đấy các không trận này quay, bên này quay là LSU. Yêu là cái nhỏ. Tối hai cái bảo tăng kia nó buông rồi. Phần tiếp theo nó không phải tối nữa. Một cái thơ tiếng